Well, we're back to Phoenix again, but this time it's a little bit different. A police officer in Phoenix made a traffic stop and attempted to bully a driver that he'd had some sort of we'll call it a road rage type exchange. He thought he was going to bully this guy, and he found out that he bit off more than he could chew and just about died on the side of the road. Let's talk about it. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Southern Draw Law. My name is James White, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, former police officer. So I was combing the internet looking for things to talk about, as my normal process generally entails, and I came across this traffic stop that was originally shown on the Police Activity channel. But in perfect spirit of transparency, the Phoenix Police Department, of course, came out within 14 days with a critical incident briefing about this officer-involved shooting because, of course, in their minds, they're completely justified. Now, you know how that goes, right? Tyrone McAlpin is probably still waiting for some unblurred footage of his body cam. And we know for a fact that the family of Dylan Seebeck from the Glendale, Arizona Police Department is still waiting 6 months later for his body cam. But of course, when they think that they're justified, they're going to give it to you right away. And that's what we have here. So let's go out and we'll check out the Phoenix critical incident briefing, listen to what their talking heads have to say about what happened, and then we'll break down a couple things that they probably didn't think about before they pulled the trigger, pun intended, so quickly to get this out into the public sphere. Let's check it out.
Hello, I'm Brian Bauer, a sergeant with Phoenix Police Department's Public Affairs Bureau. The following information is intended to provide details, as we currently understand them, of an officer-involved shooting that happened on May 25th, 2025. The information contained in this video may be disturbing to some people. Viewer discretion is advised. This incident began when a patrol officer with the Desert Horizon Precinct made a traffic stop on a car in the area of 25th Place and Cactus Road. The officer got out of his marked patrol car and began speaking with the driver, who was already standing outside of his car and being verbally confrontational. The officer explained the reason for the stop and asked for the man's driver's license. The man escalated his verbal attacks and demanded a supervisor while refusing to obey the officer's request. The officer then requested for additional units as the man became increasingly aggressive and belligerent. The man's aggressive demeanor and physical posturing towards the officer continued for several minutes, until the man struck at the officer's head and a fight broke out. The investigation revealed that the man grabbed at the officer's holstered weapon, resulting in the officer-involved shooting. The officer's body-worn camera was knocked off during the fight and does not capture the officer-involved shooting.
All right, so just before we get started with the actual interaction, I want to make this very clear. I am not and would never condone fighting a police officer on the side of the road. I don't think that's the answer. I do think it's a foreseeable consequence of police officers conducting themselves like bullies, especially in Phoenix, where they, despite the fact that the DOJ has given up on their investigation, have a very clear pattern and practice of acting like thugs with badges and guns. I think it's a foreseeable consequence. But that said, I still want to make it clear. I don't think this is right. I don't think it's okay. I just think that at some point, you have to recognize that the public is going to get tired of this stuff and you're going to start losing officers. Now, you got the real tidied up version from the public information officer here. Let's take a look and we'll stop and talk about a couple things I want to draw your attention to along the way.
Here's a clip from the officer's body-worn camera.
What is your problem?
What is your problem? You're following me.
You're the one that's going out, yelling at me, doing whatever.
I get
yelling
behind you. I wasn't yelling at you.
There's a speed limit down Cactus.
I
Do you know what the
wasn't
speed
going
limit
past
is?
it when I was trying to get
You know what the
behind
speed
you.
limit is?
35, 40
It
miles
is
an
40.
hour.
You were traveling 30. You need to be at 40.
That lady right there was just going so slow, you couldn't have to go around her to get to me, dude. You ain't gonna
Yeah, and you
shit.
go around her and then you stop again? What is your problem with it?
No,
You
I did not
obviously want
stop
my
again.
attention.
I did not stop again.
What do you need?
I did not stop.
What do you need?
Why are you following me, motherfucker?
I am not following you.
Yeah, you fucking are.
Give me your driver's license.
You.
Give me your driver's license.
You.
Give me your license.
Okay, it should be very clear from the beginning of this interaction that, one, it doesn't match what the public information officer said happened. That's the first thing.
The officer got out of his marked patrol car and began speaking with the driver, who was already standing outside of his car and being verbally confrontational. The officer explained the reason for the stop and asked for the man's driver's license.
What is your problem?
What is your problem? You're following me.
You're the one that's going out, yelling at me, doing whatever.
I wasn't
get
yelling
behind
at you. I wasn't
There's
yelling
a
at
speed
you.
limit down Cactus.
I
Do you know
wasn't
what the
going
speed limit
past
is?
it when I was trying to
Do you
get
know what the
behind
speed
you.
limit is?
35, 40
It is
miles
40.
an hour.
You were traveling 30. You need to be at 40.
That lady right there was just going so slow you couldn't have to go around her to get to me, dude. You ain't gonna
Yeah,
fuck
and you
shit.
go around her and then you stop again? What is your problem with
No,
it? You
I did not
obviously want
stop
my
again.
attention.
I did not stop
What do you
again.
need?
See, the way they always do this, they frame it in a persuasive way to make you think that it happened a certain way. So they have a iteration of the story in your mind that they've put there before they ever show you the video. So he does a traffic stop. According to the public information officer, he does a traffic stop. He approaches the man who's already standing outside his car and explains the reason for the stop. And then the guy escalates, right? That's what the public information officer says. What actually happens here? The first thing the officer says to him is not, "Good afternoon, sir. I'm Officer so-and-so. The reason I stopped you is because you were traveling below the posted speed limit." He says, "What is your problem with me?" That's the first thing the police officer says. Now, does that sound like what this public information officer said happened? It doesn't sound that way to me. You're the one yelling at me, okay? So we got somebody throwing their hands up. The police officer is thinking that he's going to lecture him and bully him on the side of the road because they had a hand-waving, dick-measuring contest in the middle of traffic. And this police officer thinks he's going to get out and chew this guy's ass, and it doesn't go the way he thinks it's going to go. Let's continue.
You have
Fuck,
any
what
weapons?
did you pull me over for? What is
For
the
driving
reason?
under the
No,
speed
you
limit.
fucking did.
Yes, I did.
No, you
Yes,
fucking
I
did.
did. Yes,
No,
I
you fucking
I already
did.
told you.
Motherfucker,
already
this is
told you.
illegal.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No,
You
it
ain't
is not.
giving you
Give me
shit.
your driver's
Get
license.
your fucking superior here right now.
For what?
Get your fucking
Give me your
superior here, you
driver's
fucking
license.
punk.
Give me your driver's license.
Back the fuck up.
Give me
Get
your
your
driver's
superior.
license.
You get your superior. You get your superior.
For what?
Because you're fucking pulling me over.
Nope.
Fucking with me for no reason.
Nope. I already told you. You
You're
were
a
driving
punk
under the
ass
speed
bitch.
limit. Sir, there is no need to yell. I need your driver's license.
So he says you need to be going 40, but, and there is, I've looked it up, it's completely discretionary and subjective, best I can tell. There is a too slow hindering traffic ordinance, right? But it's hard to make the argument for the officer here that he's hindering traffic if he has to go by a lady who stopped in traffic, who's actually hindering traffic, in order to pull this guy over. And again, let's use their buzzword. If you think about the totality of the circumstances, what do we have? We have two guys who have given each other some hand gestures back and forth in traffic. And then we have the officer trying to attach his bogus traffic stop to this going too slow for traffic conditions or driving under the speed limit or whatever it is. But this is a perfect example of a police officer pulling somebody over out of ego because he didn't like the hand gestures. It's no different than being cussed or having the bird flipped or whatever, and then trying to find some justification to fit the thing that you've already done. I would bet every amount of money that I have available to me in this moment that this was all about the cop not liking what this guy had to say to him or hand gestures waved at him during traffic, and that's how we got here. But we don't have what the public information officer described here, and it's going to get way, way, way worse.
License.
No, go get a superior.
He's
You
on
just
his
tracked me
way.
down.
He's on
stopped
his way.
me, Sat back
He is
there.
on his way.
Did you not just sit back
He is on
there?
his way.
Did you not
Sir.
just
Sir.
sit back there?
Sir,
I don't
was-
give a what ass
I
we
was
has you
doing a
doing.
record check on your plate.
You
Relax.
motherfucking asshole.
I need to see your driver's
You.
license, please.
You.
First of all, it has now dawned on this idiot police officer that he has bitten off more than he can chew, and he's messing with somebody who is an actual bully. And he's not as tough as he was when he started this traffic stop. You notice a de-escalation in his tone. You notice him backing away from the tone that he had because he realizes that this guy can probably hurt him. Notice also that this guy is walking freely back and forth. He hasn't been ordered back into the car. He hasn't been ordered to keep your hands out of your pockets, nothing. No officer safety in play whatsoever. This police officer is currently shitting his pants because he does not know what he's going to do with this guy.
This is a traffic
You.
stop.
Get your motherfucking superior. I
He's
know
on
the
his way.
law.
You want him to magically pop up? He is on his way. I called for
get
him.
your
He's
license
on his
when
way. I need your
gets
driver's
here.
license.
You
Do you have any weapons in the car?
fucking not. Get the fuck away from me. You're fucking illegal as fuck right now, kid, and you know you are.
How is this illegal?
Tracking me down, stalking me, you little fucking turd.
I saw your driving behavior.
Your dick's all tiny and shit, and everybody knows it.
Just the unhappy traffic stop.
What the f? You
He's
just
on his
passed a
way.
lady going fucking 0 miles an
Sir, are you
hour.
gonna provide your driver's license?
Fuck you, bitch. Get your superior.
Okay. You need to identify yourself with a driver's
My
license.
name is fucking Sam fucking Perone.
What is your birthday?
E.
What is your birthday?
What's your birthday?
You don't need my birthday. What is
You don't
I
need
need to
know my
identify
shit.
you.
What did you pull me over for?
I
Why did
already
you stop?
told you.
Why did you stop, you little punk ass bitch? Why did you stop?
Because
Park
I saw
there.
you stop.
Park
You
there.
exited, and you
Then
threw
why
your
didn't you
hands up
stop
at me.
then?
I was
Why
waiting
didn't
for you
you
to
fucking
fly
stop
so I could
then?
conduct the traffic stop.
You're fucking scared, you little bitch. That's why.
Sir, I need your driver's license.
Your
please.
mother. Go get your goddamn superior.
He's on his. I
Your
already
mother,
explained this to
bitch.
you.
Get out of my
Can I have
face.
your driver's license?
Your mother, bitch. Get
Do you
out
have
of my
insurance,
face.
registration, and your
You
please.
shut up. There it is. There's my fucking no.
That's it.
You ain't
I don't
handing
know
you
who you-
shit. You ain't handing you shit.
The guys are reaching into the car. Do you have any weapons in the car? He's not going to answer you, dude. He's reaching in the car, doing whatever he wants. The cop does not even try to control his movements. So contrast this. Now, I want to be clear about something. If officer safety was actually a consideration for the modern cop, he would have had a taser drawn the second this guy bowed up on him, the second he starts pumping his hands and his veins start popping out. The officer, from a use of force perspective, from a threat level perspective, if officer safety was actually a concern, would already have a taser out. Okay? This is a pissing battle that he is losing, and he knows he's losing it, and he is backing down. This guy's doing stuff that you should never, if officer safety is paramount, allow people to do. You should never allow, as a police officer, people to reach all willy-nilly back into their car if officer safety is the genuine concern. If you contrast this to a situation where the officer has somebody that's a female, or that's an old person, or that's a person who's small in stature, it's a completely different dynamic. They're bossing him around. I'm going to taser you. I'm going to do all this. Anytime you have somebody that's even moderately compliant, but just given a little bit of pushback, the officer goes roar, way above where he needs to be in order to control. This guy is a problem, and this policeman does not know how to handle him. Another thing that sort of lends itself to the idea that he did not make a good traffic stop is because he's not like telling people in a panic to come. Step it up, step it up, step it up. That doesn't happen till a couple seconds later, and you're going to see why. But he actually doesn't want a lot of attention. And this is my opinion. I'm speculating. He doesn't want a lot of attention drawn to this traffic stop because he knows he's wrong. He knows he shouldn't have pulled this guy over in the first place. That's my take. That's what I genuinely believe. I genuinely believe this was a bogus traffic stop that went south, and he realized that it was the wrong guy. And he even says, he said now on multiple occasions, you threw your hands up at me. What is your problem with me? I don't have a problem with you. You're supposed to be doing this speed. Like, all of it is more geared towards you did these things in traffic that I didn't like, and I thought I could bully you, and it didn't work, as opposed to this is a specific traffic infraction that you made, and that's the reason that I'm stopping you.
Sir, do you have insurance?
I ain't handing you shit.
Do you have insurance?
Back the fuck up.
I'm not backing up.
Back the fuck up off me.
Do you have insurance?
Yeah.
Can I see it, please?
No, not until you fucking get a superior.
He's on his way.
You ain't doing shit. I want a lawyer
If you
for
want
to
to
say
speed
another
this
fucking thing
up,
to you.
I need to see your insurance.
Shut your fucking pig mouth.
I need to see
All
your
right,
insurance,
bitch, get
please.
back.
I'm not getting back. I need to see your insurance, please. Are you failing to provide your insurance?
You're failing to fucking follow the law, sir. This is illegal.
I
What you're
already explained
This
to
is
you.
fucking illegal. What you're fucking doing? You back the fuck
I'm not
up.
backing
You
up.
back the fuck
Back
up. I ain't
up.
backing the fuck
Back
up.
up.
I ain't backing the fuck
Back
up.
up.
You back the fuck up. Grab
Dude,
that shit,
back-
motherfucker.
I am not grabbing it. There's
Yeah,
no
you
need for me
little
to grab the
fucking
gun.
punk.
Back
Little
up.
fucking punk.
Sir.
You!
Back up.
Get off of
Do
me.
not-
Get your fucking hands off
I
me.
need to know you in here.
No, you're not gonna fucking arrest me.
Sir, back up. Back up.
You back the fuck up.
Back up.
You back the
Dude,
fuck up.
up.
Get your fucking hand
Stop.
off me.
You cannot touch me.
You
Stop.
should not You
Back
touched
up.
me!
I told you to back up. Dude, please,
Again?
please stop.
Again?
Please stop walking up on me.
I'm in my goddamn
Back up.
car.
So he's continuing to get closer to this guy. He's not getting any distance between them. He should have, if he really screwed this up from an officer safety perspective, he should have had a taser pointed at this guy. As soon as it became obvious that this guy was capable of being a physical threat, he should have been prepared. This guy's saying back up. What do you gain by not backing up? You've let the guy walk all over the traffic stop. You've let him lean into the car. You've let him basically do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants to you. You haven't drawn any of your weapons that you could potentially use for different intervals of force. It's nothing but ego that tells you that you can't back up. You need distance from this person. But this officer keeps closing the distance and then demands that the guy back up. And then he puts his hands on him, and that's why he's getting ready to get punched in the mouth.
Back up.
Nice. All right, come on, bitch.
Step it up. We're fighting.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah.
Okay, so you can tell by this guy's fighting stance that he has some pretty substantial training in MMA and boxing. Maybe not MMA, but certainly kickboxing and boxing. But I think MMA too, because he goes in for clinch. His technique is similar to a person who's done substantial training in fighting. And the cop's technique is to fall against the car and get his ass kicked. Still no taser. This guy is advancing and backing up and advancing and backing up. No attempt to go to the taser whatsoever. None whatsoever. This is so stupid. This dude is so scary to him that he has backed all the way out of his original bully posture.
A witness filmed the interaction from across the street. In that video, you can see a passerby run to help the officer by trying to pull the man off of him. You can also hear the gunshot on the cell phone video, followed by additional unidentified sounds. Investigators have confirmed that only one shot was fired from the officer's gun. Here is that cell phone video.
This is the second video I've seen this week of citizens trying to get involved. Dude, if you can't fucking fight, don't jump into a confrontation with a police officer on the side of the road. All you're going to do is add another body to the mix. If your answer is to come up and grab a guy who is handling a freaking police officer like he's a wet rag and wrap your arms around him, you're just asking to get your ass kicked. Don't be jumping in when you don't have a damn clue what to do. All you're going to do is make it worse.
Responding officers provided medical aid and applied a tourniquet to the man's leg. Phoenix Fire also responded and took the man to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He was released from the hospital the following day and booked into Maricopa County Jail. The involved officer sustained multiple injuries as a result of the attack, and he was treated and released from the hospital.
Well, a gunshot happens, right? And something flops out. And I couldn't tell. It looked to me like it was the pistol because it looked to me like it was black. So I couldn't tell whether it was the taser or the pistol. And he ultimately does end up having, I think, a negligent discharge. I think what happened is either this guy disarmed this police officer and the officer was able to get back control of the pistol and a round was discharged in the process and struck the guy in the leg. It did not look to me like this police officer ever intentionally drew his gun or his taser. It looks to me like this guy is reaching for the gun and gets it off of him. Now, the footage is so far away, it's hard to tell. But the point I'm trying to make is, if there ever was a time that it would be appropriate to use a taser on somebody, it's in a situation like that, where you think they're more physically than you can handle, and you don't have authorization to go to deadly force, and you have to work your way up the use of force continuum. I would have gone to a taser here, but whatever. I genuinely believe the police officer is 80% responsible for the way this thing turned out, because he had no clue what to do with this guy, and he stopped him for the wrong reason, and he took the wrong approach. It just goes to show you, man, people are sick and tired of it. They're not going to be bullied. If you're going to pull somebody over and expect to bully them, you better be a bully. You better be able to handle whatever they give you back. And this policeman was completely outclassed. He didn't know how to fight. He didn't have an answer for being clinched. He continually closed the distance and then started putting his hands on somebody that he knew for sure that he couldn't physically handle. In closing, this is what is going to continue to happen. Again, I'm not advocating for it, but I believe this was an unconstitutional stop. I genuinely believe that. I believe that he had no legal basis to make this traffic stop, and then it went south. And because he ends up having to get in a big fight and the guy basically kicks his ass on the side of the road, people in Arizona are going to rally all the way around this guy. They'll sweep it under the rug. They've already put out the officer-involved shooting critical incident briefing, for the sake of transparency or whatever in Phoenix. So I don't have to tell you how much of a shithole Phoenix is or Maricopa County is. It's just that it's going to get worse, guys, if you don't stop trying to be thugs. I know you got your tattoos all over you and you're sleeved up and you're a tough guy, but you should have learned in this interaction right here that you aren't made for this. You're bitch made compared to that guy. You're not ready for this interaction. You should have spent all that money that you spent, those thousands of dollars, getting yourself to put a full-time tough guy costume. You should have invested that money into some jiu-jitsu lessons because you didn't have a clue what to do here. So you need to stop being a freak. You're lucky that you didn't earn yourself a folded up fucking flag on a casket for your family. Because if this happened 9 more times, 7 or 8 of them would end with you in a body bag. Keep messing with people for no reason to assert dominance. And don't whine when you get dominated, if that's what you're going to do. Again, I don't condone violence against police officers. I just think it's a foreseeable consequence for the way they conduct themselves. So let me know what you think in the comments. No politics, guys. When I make videos, I'm talking about the law. I'm not interested in political debates. My principles do not shift based on who the parties are. I don't decide where I land on an incident based on whether I like the person that it happened to. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I know a lot of you guys think that means that I defend criminals. I don't defend criminals. I don't like most of my clients. I don't think that most of the things my clients do are defensible. I defend the Constitution. That's what defense attorneys do. There's just one question. Was the stop legal? If the stop was illegal, I don't care whether it gets a killer free. I don't care whether it gets a drug dealer free. I care whether the police do it the right way. Because here's the thing. When all the drug dealers and the killers are locked up, and when all the brown people that you don't want in your neighborhoods have made it over back to their country, or when all the black people that you think should act a certain way, when all of that happens, what are you going to do with the police officers that you've allowed to become monsters that do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it? In other words, when everything starts going your way and you've weaponized the law enforcement institution for your political leanings, and I'm talking to both sides, what are you going to do with the police that didn't realize that they were working for you because that's who you wanted them to be weaponized against? When they turn on you, you're going to have a problem. And so that's why my principles don't shift. I, of course, take a side in these instances. I look to see what do the facts say happened. And I use the facts and the law and case law to determine who I think conducted themselves correctly. It has nothing to do with whether I like them. I can defend somebody I don't like on principle. When everything you see is through a political lens, you don't have any principles. All you have is an ideological box that you try to make everything fit into so that it satisfies whatever worldview you have. I have a worldview and I have political ideologies, but I don't use this channel to promote them. I just talk about what the law says and who was right and who was wrong based on what I believe a court would do in a given situation. It's not about politics. It's about the Constitution. And as I said in my blog post, the Constitution is not your fucking mood ring that you get to wear and it changes colors based on how you feel about who's getting screwed by the police. The Constitution is the same for everybody. Anyway, that's my rant. Sorry about that. But I will address whatever comes up in the comments that I think would be good talking points in a companion blog over on Substack. And I invite you over to Substack to check it out. It's absolutely free to join. You can join on a paid tier if you'd like to, but you don't have to. It's just for people who want to support the channel monetarily. If you don't want to go to Substack, but you'd like to support the channel monetarily, I'll leave my Venmo and PayPal links both here on the screen as well as in the description. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment on the video. Check out some of the other videos on the channel and leave a comment on there as well. Until I see you again, take care. Always film your interactions with the police and keep your evidence to yourself.